Chapter 1. We went to bed early after the cookout. It was nice to sleep in my own bed with my wife beside me. Ashley, mostly we called her Little Bit, wanted to sleep with us and really put up a fight. But we wanted some time to ourselves. It had been a while since we'd been together, and we were going to make up for it. Afterward, Mel was asleep, and I was lying there, staring at the ceiling. In the past, I would have gotten up and gone online, but those days were over. No more internet. No more laptop. No more of a lot of things. I got up and walked out to the living room and sat down in my chair. The room was dark and silent. There was no AC running, no fan, no nothing. Light washed over the window, and I heard an ATV heading toward the roadblock. I stood and looked out the front window as it passed by, and then the darkness and silence returned. I sat down again in my leather chair, but soon I was up again and returned to my bed and Mel. Morning came, and I was up before the sun. Mel was still asleep, as were the girls. I put on a pot of water to boil. I stood there for a moment, taking the scene in, looking around at the kitchen, the fluorescent light glowing against the ceiling, and looking forward to coffee. The 3-burner butterfly kerosene stove is a truly wonderful piece of equipment to have. Once the burner is lit and the catalytic converter heats up, it produces no smoke and can be used indoors. While the water was heating, I went out to the shop to look at the food stores. I was surprised at what I saw. Mel said she hadn't been very careful in the beginning, but that she had soon changed her ways and had started to conserve. It looked like the kids had put a real dent in the canned fruit. The soups and stews were hit rather hard, but there was still a lot there, and if we were careful, we could stretch it out for some time. It felt good standing there in front of those shelves, knowing it wasn't all a waste of time and money. I grabbed a can of Spam and headed back inside. The water was boiling, and I added it to the press. I let the coffee brew for a minute, set a skillet on the burner, and poured myself a cup with sugar and some powdered creamer. While the skillet heated, I added a little olive oil and sliced the Spam. From the fridge, I grabbed a few eggs and set them aside while the meat in the pan heated. Mel came into the kitchen and said, "I smell coffee and Spam." "Morning, sunshine," I said. She went to the cabinet and returned with a cup and poured it full of coffee. She doctored her cup while I was flipping the Spam. "When do the girls usually get up?" I asked, as I took the meat from the pan and cracked an egg into it. "They usually sleep late. No school and all. They couldn't be happier," she said, taking a sip from the cup. "Well, can't blame 'em. I would if I could," I said. We sat down at the table in the kitchen and ate breakfast together. The sun was starting to come up, and it looked like it would be a nice day. After another cup of coffee, I got up and headed for the bedroom. "Really? After last night, I can't believe you have the energy," she said with a smirk on her face. I paused at the door. "I have more energy than you can imagine." I put on my Carhartt pants and my Ariat boots, something other than those damn Bellevilles I had walked 200 miles home in. I pulled my tack vest on and draped the sling of my assault rifle over my shoulders. Mel looked up from the cup in her hands. "Where are you going?" "I'm going to walk up to the end of the road and talk to Danny. I just want to see how things are around here." After strapping on the XD, I headed for the door and walked down the drive toward the gate in the early dawn. The dogs, Meathead and Little Girl, came running up and jumping all over me. I knew I wouldn't be able to keep them in the yard, so I just let them follow me. We went out onto the road and turned toward the roadblock. It wasn't long before the dogs went nuts, barking and raising hell. I looked back and saw what they were barking at. Coming down the road on her bike, like she usually did in the mornings, was Pat. "Shit," I said as I turned around and kept on toward the roadblock. I could hear her bike closing on me, and it wasn't long before she came alongside. "Hi, Morgan. I heard you were back," she said with a forced smile. "Yeah, finally." "How was it? Was it hard?" she asked. I looked over at her. "More than you can imagine." "I bet. We haven't been anywhere since all this happened. Neither of our cars work, so we haven't gone out," Pat said, as she pedaled her bike.